You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
What's going on, U.S. Cellular customers? I've got good news, so don't hit skip, at least not yet. I'm talking about their special customer event, Us Days. What is Us Days? It means exclusive offers just for their customers, just to say thanks, like $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. No, I didn't just misread that. They must really like you. Us Days at U.S. Cellular, exclusive offers just for you, just to say thank you. Right now, U.S. Cellular customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. Terms apply. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlip. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_data. Well, today is actually going to function more as a Packernet After Dark, but I didn't want it to just be a Packernet After Dark, so I figured we'd do just a couple little updates. Busy weekend and a doctor's appointment today, so I don't have a massive amount of time to do two podcasts or to even do a lot of research and whatnot. So I'm going to do, like I said, primarily a call-in. We'll get to some calls, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the day trying to look up some stuff that we can talk about. Plus, I've got Packernet Derailed tonight, so I'm just a little short on time. So, first of all, probably most importantly, Packers mandatory minicamp starts today. That's going to run the 11th, 12th, and 13th. I don't have a lot of information in terms of what's going to be open to the media and whatnot. I'm hoping ideally all 3 days would be, but we'll find out what information we can get out of that. Hopefully kind of a lot, because there's not a lot going on between the end of this week and, training camp. Things we'd like to see, obviously, we want to get a good look at the offensive line. Not that we get any definitive answers, but it'd just be nice to kind of see it. The secondary, there was some talk of Javon Bullard taking some snaps in the slot. I'm still assuming that's not going to be the way that this is going to pan out, but they've already given him some snaps in the slot, so we'll just see as the minicamp happens, who's playing safety, who's playing in the slot. Be good to see Stokes, things of that nature. And then the only other thing, Mercedes Lewis is officially coming back with the Chicago Bears. So I hate that it's the Bears, but I am happy for him. He's doing something pretty historic, his ability to continue to play. Unfortunately, I'm not able to wish him success, but still happy for him. All right, that's all the massively important news. The rest can wait. Why don't we dive into the calls? If you want to call in, 608-501-0718 is the phone number. If you're a new caller, you'll go directly to the front of the line. With that said, why don't we go ahead and get started with Kyle from Madison.
Ryan, what's up, buddy? Kyle from Madison. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I don't know. I know there's vacation. I don't know if you're on it now or you were on it or when it is. I just know what's happening. If you did or are on it now, I hope you're having fun.
Thanks.
I wanted to talk about real-world applications of AI to a Packers fan. And what do I mean? So, growing up in the 1980s, I was lied to by Back to the Future Part 2. I was told I would have a hoverboard as an adult and flying cars. Neither is happening.
Yeah. I
was also, though, told that there would be robots. And so what I'm saying is, look, history, like the future blew it on hoverboards, flying cars. If like Boston Dynamics or whatever these companies make me a robot for my house, I'll give you like $10,000, like whatever that price is for the first like usable house robot. The robot that can like hold the board when I'm cutting it, vacuum the floor, do some other stuff. I can talk to it, that kind of thing. Like, let's go. We're almost there. Because to me, that'd be really useful. Because then, when I'm watching games, I don't have to get up for anything. I mean, I know you have kids, and you can probably, trick them into, getting you stuff. I can't. It's just my wife, and she is, no. That's what I'm waiting for. I want a robot because I didn't get the hoverboard and the flying car.
Yeah.
But it does seem like we're pretty close to that. But, yeah, let's go. Give me the useful domestic robot. I will see Black Mirror. I'm sure you probably have, but it's kind of like a modern day Twilight Zone, kind of, you know, where there's usually a moral story to the story, and the Black Mirror episodes are always focused around ominous versions of the future. But they do have an episode, and they're usually right, which is creepy. But they do have an episode where this person is being chased by one of these robot dogs that's like an assassin. And it's terrifying. And it looks a lot like that Boston Dynamics dog thing. So that's a little freaky if, like, we have all these militias with, like, AI-run, you know, militant murder robo-dogs. That would freak me out. But if they can get the like, nice, benevolent robot that does stuff around my house, like, let's go. I'll put the credit card down right now.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's my attempt to tie together Packers and AI and murder robots in one 3-minute call. So, I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about it, actually. It seems like it worked. But, yeah, I'd like to hear what you have to say about that, sir.
I feel like I missed the part about the Packers, but I have seen Black Mirror. I don't know. I don't think I've seen it all the way to the end. Maybe it's still going. I don't know. It felt like it just was, to some degree, unnecessarily dark, maybe at times, where it was like, all right, that's enough. So I think I kind of backed off of it, found some other hobbies. But yeah, I've seen the military robo-dog. The again, and I mentioned this before, the only thing I can think as far as military usage is it's just further mutually assured destruction, similar to what we have with nukes now, except it's not just going to be nukes. We have robot militaries and AI intelligence, and if anybody pushes the button, it's friggin' game over. Which, again, sounds scary, but we already live in that world when it comes to nukes. Somebody pushes the button, then everybody pushes the button, and we're all kind of screwed. The point is, nobody pushes the button, and it actually means that nobody screws with anybody else. So, a bunch of robot armies with, you know, superior intelligence, probably just a lot of countries not pushing buttons. Just got to worry about the crazy ones. But at the very least, again, I think there's going to be a window of awesome. If things get dark later, that could be. But there's going to be a window of this is pretty awesome, which means, you know, robots that do stuff for you. Whether things continue to be awesome or just start to get really bad, I don't know. I don't freaking know, man.
And on a purely Packer-related call, I have to say, the fact that on the third OTA, they get legit 100%, no family emergencies, every single person in attendance, I just don't remember this ever happening like this. And I do think it's kind of where this team's at. It has to. I look at Jair Alexander, for example. I know he was suffering last year. We were too, as fans of that defense. But, God, I know it's a small sample size, but when you see him out there with Xavier, you can't tell me this guy isn't juiced to play with Xavier next to him. I mean, I just think there's a level of excitement here we haven't seen in a heck of a long time. So that's amazing, and I just continue to be excited. In fact, I'm going to just try, you know, I hate when everybody gets on the bandwagon. I've been trying to tell myself, like, you know, shouldn't have super high expectations for the Packers. Like, let's just be good. Let's show that we can do it again and blah, blah, blah. I can't even lie to myself like that. I am so excited. I can't make a honest case to myself not to be super excited about this team, you know? It really is damn exciting, even though we have sky high expectations. I think that's okay. You'll go over the OTAs in detail. I don't know I wish there was video of this. Maybe there is, but man, Twitter just exploded. And a lot of our, you know, the Hermans of the world and a lot of the other people in the Packers, cinematic universe or whatever we're calling it, everybody seemed to react to a play that Edgerrin Cooper had on Jacobs, where he knifed through a hole and took him down, 3 yards in the backfield. But people are flipping out about that. And that's the same week where you had the soundbite from ESPN about, I think it was like the Riddick, or I don't remember who it was, talking about Cooper being, like a Fred Warner kind of guy. And when I heard that, I almost had a heart attack, And then you had it on the pod, thankfully. But that same week, then everybody go crazy with some of these plays he's making in OTAs. I mean, I'm gonna have a heart attack. If this guy's Fred Warner, dude, I can't even handle it. I can't even handle it. That's as good as if Christian Watson is like healthy all year. I can't even handle it. It's too amazing. So, just a lot of positive stuff right now. Please, Lord, keep our team healthy and focused and go win a couple titles. All right.
Well, I'll say this: it's unlikely that something isn't awesome. Between a Rashawn resurgence, a Jair resurgence, a Wyatt breakout, a Kenny resurgence, a Stokes breakout, a Xavier McKinney, turns out he's still elite, top 3 safety. One of the 3 safeties being awesome, Quay breakout, Cooper being elite. I mean, something awesome's going to happen. I don't know what it is, but I'm very excited to find out what, and hopefully it culminates into a really, really good defense.
Hey, one more call here. I just listened to the discussion. Excellent and thoughtful remarks by Aaron on being a musician and AI and things. And I really appreciated his comments, and then also your response to him. I think you brought up like the Globe Factory, basically like the work that's there just for work you can eliminate, right? Because Aaron had talked about how he appreciates and likes and enjoys the creative process. And you're talking about Premiere Pro and like, to actually sit there and learn all those effects and things like that takes forever, right? You could use AI. The thing I'll push back on though is, I know for like in my stuff, and I'm not trying to speak for everybody who's done creative endeavors in their life, that's pretty much everyone, but I know for me in particular, and I would guess a lot of creatives, like for music, for example, of the songs I've written that I like, maybe one of them was like easy, just kind of I wrote it and it worked. Usually what happens is I don't really have a plan at a certain point on some songs, and during the creative process, while I'm messing around with things I don't understand yet, or I'm just trying stuff, is when, like for me, I think of a song like A Block of Ice, and I'm trying to figure out where it is in there. And so it's like, if you remove the creative process using AI, I don't know what I would have, because so many of the things that I do are when I'm trying to learn something. Like if I don't know it, at a certain point, you will become paralyzed by choice. So, you have to punt, and you have to say to yourself, hey, instead of watching 10 hours more, tutorials on something, you have to use knowledge you have now to do whatever it is in your mind the best you can, right? Otherwise, you will get nothing done. And it's within that creative process where the song is uncovered in the Block of Ice. So I'm not saying it's necessarily bad. You certainly pointed out some benefits of not having to learn, each little thing. But if I wasn't trying like in Premiere Pro or Resolve, because most of what I've learned, I use stuff the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like, let's throw this on there. Let's do this on there. It's totally not what it's meant for, but I love what I end up discovering. I worry that sense of discovery isn't going to be there for a lot of people that become reliant on AI. So it's just interesting. And then last point, and I'm going to move on from this topic, but thank you for indulging me and other people who've been interested in AI, Ryan. I know it's Packers show. We're going to get back to it. But I was just going to say to Aaron, when I called a couple weeks ago and said, it's been really depressing trying to think about making music when AI is out there and just making songs in an instant. Since then, I've actually been a little liberated, because I figured out, since AI has done some of the weirdest stuff I've ever heard, kind of unshackled me to be able to have freedom to be as weird as I want now. You know what I mean? Like I just do whatever the hell I want now. Who cares anymore? So maybe other people will have that effect also. Anyway, bye.
Well, I mean, as far as the, trial and error thing, I mean, two things. Number one, I don't know how much of the trial and error comes through not knowing how to use the software, right? That's kind of the barrier. There's still trial and error if you're wanting to do things. It's a question of not knowing how to communicate it to the software. Like, I want this sound. I don't know how to do that. Or I'm trying to edit this video. Like, how do I... So I was trying to do the other day, which is easy now with AI, because I can, even though it's not built into Premiere Pro, I can just ask it. Just be like, how do I do this? It's like, just go to this, it's very easy. But I wanted to click and drag the end of a video, which you can't extend a video, but what would happen is that it would slow down the time as you extend it so that the video could be longer. Now, maybe there's some trial and error benefit of just trying to find that function on my own without getting help, but I doubt it. And I think the trial and error is actually trying to do things, which will happen a lot faster when you have the ability to do it without just having no idea what you're doing. But I think the bigger thing that I mentioned is the barrier to entry, because I'll look at something like Photoshop and I'll just walk away because there's just too much. There's too much in there, especially when there's things, if I want to remove the background, there's so many things now. I don't need Photoshop for that. I'll find another way to do it other than using Photoshop, because there's a billion different things that you can do in there, and it actually ends up being harder to use something like that than to just go to some online background remover website or whatever. Even if it's not quite as good, who cares? But if you had, something like AI built into it, you can just tell it what you want. It'll use the appropriate tools, and it'll get the job done. It'd also be quite cool to kind of just ask it, what kind of things could I do to this? Well, you could add these kind of tones. You can do this. You can do that. There's techniques that you can do this, and it can show you an example. Like if we did this, it would do that. Like, oh yeah, let's do it. Freaking do it up, man. I just see the learning process of software as a burden more than anything else. I don't really see a benefit to it. It's just a barrier between somebody's creativity and being able to exercise it. Unless you just have, your interest is not actually in creativity, it's in learning softwares. Like, okay, in that case, yeah, go ahead and learn stuff, I guess. I don't know. Knock yourself out. So, I can't speak for everybody. Everybody's different. I think the people that have made the decision to spend the time to do it are going to be different than the people who, like me, would be interested in it, but are like, I ain't doing all that freaking work, dude. That's too much. I'm not dedicating years to learn to play an instrument so that I can learn to make music. It's not that interesting. Anyways, let's take our first break. We'll come back and hear from Uncle Rico. In the hobby, it's not easy of being a fan of ripping packs or repacks. We always hype ourselves up thinking we're going to get some kind of a mint signed Jordan Love card or something. But with zero transparency on available cards and hit rates, it's all just a shot in the dark. That is until now. Introducing Slab Packs from ArenaClub.com, the only repack that provides real value, a complete view of all possible cards, and clear hit rates for each one. Now when I buy Slab Packs on Arena Club, I finally feel like I know what I'm getting. I don't know if you saw the video me and my son did. That was us on ArenaClub.com looking for new cards for my kid. Still on our YouTube channel. You should check it out. They have an incredible website. Slab Packs are way better than mystery packs. Immediately after your pulls, they put your cards safe in a vault. So whether you're buying, selling, trading, or displaying, Arena Club's got the card collection platform that you have to check out. Right now, you can get 10% off your first purchase by going to arenaclub.com/packdaddy. That is a crazy offer. 10% off a $400 slab pack. That's $40 right there. Anyways, that's arenaclub.com/packdaddy for 10% off your first purchase. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. What's going on, U.S. Cellular customers? I've got good news, so don't hit skip, at least not yet. I'm talking about their special customer event, Us Days. What is Us Days? It means exclusive offers just for their customers, just to say thanks, like $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. No, I didn't just misread that. They must really like you. Us Days at U.S. Cellular, exclusive offers just for you, just to say thank you. Right now, U.S. Cellular customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. Terms apply.
Have you ever experienced turbulence on a flight and wondered why? And you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
No, everything's PG.
Maybe you've sat on the tarmac for hours wondering why your plane isn't moving.
Well, we're outside here. They're saying the ramp is closed. They won't let us park because of Air Force One.
Listen in on the conversations between pilots and air traffic controllers on the Air Traffic Out of Control podcast.
512 Whiskey declaring an emergency. There's smoke in the cabin. I need to make a landing right now on 31 left.
We have the most interesting, wild, and funny ATC recordings you will ever hear. Check out Air Traffic Out of Control wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Yo, Ryan, it's your uncle, Rico.
Hey.
What's up, bro? I'm just listening to you rant about the respect the Eagles are getting, maybe falsely or whatever, and the disrespect the Packers are getting blatantly. So that's fine, dude. Let them disrespect us. We'll show them. I like it. I like to be disrespected and then show them. They get punched in the mouth. That's awesome. Anyways, you go ahead and bet that $1,000. I would. I don't know about betting, but I would. I mean, the Packers are definitely going to win. I don't give a shit playing Brazil or Lambeau or Mars. Packers are still going to win. We know that. We all know that. Everybody knows that except for the people who don't know it, and that's because they're dumb. All right. You know what? They're a bunch of jagoffs. I love it when you say jagoff. Rico out. Go, Pack, go. Woo!
Yeah, there's a video that I was contemplating playing today before I decided to just do this. I'll save it for tomorrow, maybe. But there's like 3 different guys going over Jordan Love verse or whatever, and they're not big Jordan Love fans. One of them in particular looks like he's a 49ers fan. Really seems to hate Jordan Love, but he at one point he goes on a little temper tantrum. He's like, the guy played good for 5 games. You know, I mean, it's stupid stuff like that where it's like, bro, it wasn't 5 games. What are you talking about? It's just, people just don't realize. It was quite a bit more than 5 games, dude. You can look at the last 10, 11, 12, 13 games of the season. He's a top quarterback. So, I mean, I can't say I'm tired of saying it because it's not like I'm talking to anybody. It's not like I've been arguing with the same person. And it's just a bunch of people that aren't listening. But it's just the broad swaths of people that genuinely just have no idea what the heck they're talking about and are going into things. And again, it's just people forget. At the end of last year, it was done, right? It was Jordan Love is they did it again. They found another one. I can't believe it. Everybody knew it. Everybody acknowledged it. Bears fans, everybody did. Now we find ourselves June 11th and everybody forgot. Oh, no, it's selective memory. We've convinced ourselves again that, that didn't count. That wasn't good enough. And he's probably not even that good. So, yeah, I would definitely take everybody else over Jordan. It's just stupid nonsense.
Hi, Ryan. This is Brooke from Illinois again.
Hi.
I guess we just can't escape this AI conversation.
I guess.
And I was listening to the After Dark and that caller that took 3 separate phone calls. And then listening to you follow up on that. I get it, adapt or die, and there's a lot that we do have to adapt to, but I'm an artist, and this is most definitely, taking away a lot of jobs. I went to school for it. It's taking away the need for talent. It's taking away the time that people have put into developing this talent. And as somebody who's not particularly tech savvy, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of, being able to tell a robot what I want for code because that's not something that I'm particularly good at. But, your Globe example of, people who used to put these things together by hand and now we have machines that can do it. Where do those people go? I'm really excited at the concept of having robots do everything for us, but then we lay around and do what? Nobody's going to pay us for not doing anything, and it scares the crap out of me that I can go online and say, make me a logo with XYZ, and AI just does it, and now I'm completely out of a job because nobody needs to hire me for that kind of stuff anymore. So, my only option is to go and become something that robots can't take over. I mean, I've been a passionate artist my entire life. I've already started to adapt a lot of what I do and trying to work AI into it, but the more savvy that AI gets and the more people who decide they want to dabble in this kind of stuff, the less work. I mean, no matter what AI is doing, somebody's losing their job, and that's what scares me. It's not the Terminator thing. It's the fact that people are losing their jobs because robots are taking over. So that's just my 2 cents. I just spent 6 hours in the car binging a bunch of your podcasts and hearing back people calling in about AI, and I just couldn't really take it anymore. I needed to talk about why I'm afraid of it. So hopefully we can get back to talking about Packers and some of that exciting stuff, but curious on your take on that response. So thank you. Have a good day.
I mean, part of the good news is that nothing happens overnight. I mean, this stuff is happening fast, but nothing happened overnight, and there's still a ton of skepticism, which is working in your favor. I think there's going to be a lot of people for a long time that are not going to accept, AI and things of that nature. In other words, they're still going to want to talk to a person about getting a logo, not sit there and type in a prompt or whatever. How long, I don't know. And it's because things don't happen, overnight. The people that made the globes or the people that shoveled crap off streets when we used to use horse and buggies, they found new jobs is what they did. Now, it kind of sucks if you are an artist and that's just what you do. And I don't know what that means exactly. There's a lot of different ways to do art. For example, and this probably wouldn't necessarily appeal to you, but again, the editing side of things is pretty awful. Now, that may change in the next even 6 months, who knows? But for now, I mean, I think you've got a really awesome tool to be able to help where it can sort of generate a really solid baseline. You can go in and tweak it and get a lot more work done more quickly and make a good amount of money. That would also maybe, and I certainly wouldn't want to tell you to abandon everything because who knows what's going to happen, and maybe it's not going to end up being as catastrophic as it seems, but I don't think it'd be a terrible idea to start developing a plan B of some kind. I remember back when, this was quite a while ago, but, when like WordPress came around, made it real easy for people to kind of create their own websites. And I remember at one point seeing this guy talk about how he made HTML websites, and he did it the old school way, and it was the right way to do things. And really it wasn't. I mean, there's not these like handmade HTML websites anymore anywhere, but it was just sort of a dying gasp of somebody who refused to adapt, because they could have continued on making websites for people as an established person, but they had this outdated looking website, which is a terrible thing to have when you're a website developer. This old, outdated looking, again, HTML style 1990s looking website in, 2008 or whatever. And you think that you're going to survive by just telling people that the old ways are still the better ways. It's not going to work. And I guarantee you that guy does not have a job making websites anymore. And if he does, it's because he adapted. But, I would just try to stay in front of it. There's always going to be a need for what you do in some capacity, whatever that may be. It might not be digital art. I mean, that's going to be really tough. But, if you did paintings, I don't know that somebody's going to want to pay. I mean, paintings are tough to get people to buy your paintings anyways, but, if that was a thing that you wanted to do, I don't know that somebody would want to generate AI art and just print it at their printer. That's not as interesting, and that's the kind of stuff that I think I think we'll be able to live on. Maybe AI will encroach a little bit, but I think at least for a very long time, there's still going to be a desire for artists that create art. Photography is still going to be an important thing. Things like interior design or, whatever. Those types of things. I mean, robots are going to have a harder time kind of encroaching in those areas. Not impossible, but not like where it is with logos where we're basically already there. Something to think about, that's all. Keep doing what you're doing and figure out a plan B. All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back and hear from Garrett in Southern Illinois.
Well, hope your trip is going well, Ryan, and you haven't strangled any of your kids and your wife hasn't spilled any coffee on you. Looking forward to hearing about the Packers when you get back, but here's a song for you to listen to while you're still cruising.
All right. Life is a highway. I dig it. My wife was actually the DJ. It's the first time we've ever done that, and it worked out quite well. She played the music that I, kind of hovered in the genres that I appreciate. And after a while, she'd get bored and turn it off. And I thought I would hate that and get really annoyed, but I actually kind of liked it. So it's a good trip. Thank you.
Yo, Ryan, it's your uncle, Rico.
Yo,
bro. Hey, you were just talking on the pod about, I don't know, some guys, I don't even know who cares really, but they're saying how the Packers don't have any blue chip players. Jordan Love was the 15th player I think he selected, or was it the 9th? I don't even know. Anyways, it wasn't very high. And then there were no others in consideration. But you know what that kind of reminds me of? And I might be wrong, but when I think back to all the Patriots, the Patriots when they were dominant, when they were winning Super Bowls left and right, Tom Brady is a name, but there's not really any household names really on those teams that I can think of anyway, I mean, some good guys, but no, like awesome, super duper Hall of Fame guys, unless I'm remembering that wrong. And also currently the Patriots, the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, but there's not a bunch of other names or really any names I can think of. I think that people get way hung up on individual players, like Reggie White or Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think that is really a requirement. I mean, you want a good quarterback, but honestly, does he have to be the best quarterback in the league? Does every player? I mean, I just think you want a bunch of good players better than a bunch of players and some great ones. You know what I'm getting at? Am I wrong about the Patriots and the Chiefs? Maybe I am. I'm not the kind of guy who remembers all that stuff really well, but that's what comes to my brain when I think about it anyways. All right, Ryan, just commenting. Rico out. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, well, I mean, they both obviously had really good tight ends with Gronk and Kelce and whatnot. Stupid microphone! With Gronk and Kelce and whatnot. But no, I mean, they didn't have superstars from top to bottom. I think the other characteristic that they seem to have, solid defenses, Chiefs especially lately, but that doesn't really answer the question of blue chip. And that's kind of the point that I made several times about fans that want to complain about, well, look at our linebackers, look at this, look at that. Like, do you think there's a team that's just perfect? There isn't, and there never will be. It's not a thing. Every team has holes and flaws, including all the teams that win Super Bowls. This isn't Madden. You don't just try to get everybody up to 99 and then dominate everybody. It's about allocating your resources. Think of it this way. Theoretically, every team should be about the same. That's not how it turns out, but theoretically, that's how it's supposed to turn out. It's about figuring out how to end up on top, despite not being significantly better than the other teams. Whining about, well, we have deficiencies here and there. No kidding. It's not about that.
Hi, Ryan. It's Randy from Minnesota.
Sure.
Hope you had a good vacation.
Very good.
I had just a couple questions. With the NFL going to an emergency quarterback, I guess you can carry 3 quarterbacks now. Does that necessarily mean that one of the quarterbacks has to go to the practice squad, or can they kind of, I don't know, put him make it so he's not on practice squad where he can be sniped by another team, but on the team itself in case they need a third emergency quarterback. I didn't really understand the rule. I thought maybe you might be able to elaborate on that more. And I'm just, have I missed it, or they're not talking, or Coach Bisaccia is not saying anything? I haven't heard him talk about the new kickoff rules. Any idea how he's going to implement these changes? I've heard all the other coaches, I think, talk about one thing or other, but I haven't heard anything from him. I would be interested to hear his thoughts on these new rules and what he's going to do and what he's looking for that might be different in the kickoff team. So anyway, I'm glad you're back. I missed the programming, and go Pack, go. Bye.
Yeah, so the emergency quarterback thing, essentially you would still have to carry a third quarterback on your 53-man roster, but on game day you activate 46 players. So of the 53, you activate 46 on game day. All that really changes with this new rule is that you can add a 47th player if it is your third quarterback. I can't imagine, I could be wrong, I can't imagine that would be enough to move the needle to keep a third quarterback if you really didn't want to. Maybe like with the Packers situation where they have three guys that they like and are maybe scared to put one on the practice squad, they'd be willing to do it. And then they can carry a 47th man on the, but you know, the odds that you would ever end up actually using that person anyways, it's such a weird rule to me. I mean, I understand why they did it because there was a playoff game where they ran out of quarterbacks, but are teams really going to think, man, what if we get both quarterbacks knocked out? We really need to have three active quarterbacks. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I guess I don't know if teams have taken advantage of that. I mean, I guess, 53s and 46s can be fluid throughout the season, so you can make some changes. If you start getting nervous, maybe you got Jordan Love is kind of banged up and you're unsure. Maybe you want to have a third guy out there. Just, I don't know. But I don't think it's good to know just in case the Packers carry a third, or if they ever have three that are active for a game day or whatever, then you kind of understand the rule that you can carry an extra guy. It doesn't mean anybody else was kept off, I guess. Outside of that, I don't think it's a massively interesting rule. In fact, as far as I know, I think only the 49ers actually took advantage of that rule throughout the season. It looks like the Bears and Jets may have done it for like a game or two. So I don't know. As for Rich Bisaccia, I believe he's only had one press conference this offseason, at least one that I could find since the rule was enacted. Looking at some of the questions and answers in that press conference, asked about the adjustments, he said significant effort is being put into adjusting to the new kickoff rules, with player feedback being integral to understanding the implementation and changes. Talking about the comparison with the XFL, he said the NFL's new kickoff rule differs slightly from the XFL with the addition of 2 float players and the potential for 2 returners, making the play potentially more dynamic. The coach expressed excitement about the new kickoff rule, highlighting the benefits of continued play and potential for innovative strategies. That's about it. I mean, he talks about Keyshawn Nixon, being excited to have him back. I mean, there's no specifics in terms of what they're going to do, and I don't expect them to do that because they don't want to tell anybody what they're going to do. So, bottom line is he did talk a little bit about that. You can find it if you go over to YouTube. Go to the Green Bay Packers channel, and then just search in Rich Bisaccia, or Rich would be fine. You can find the one from him a month ago. He talks a little bit about it.
Hey, Ryan. It's Randy from Minnesota.
Hey.
Listen to your podcast. Couple things just spurred something in me. I first want to thank 1265 Gal for reminding me how good Reed was last year. I forgot already all his accomplishments during the season, and it's just weird. You see him play well, and you see it come up on what he's done, all these records, and then after the season, you're like, he did what? Really? Wow, I totally forgot that. I just want to say thanks for reminding me of that. and I wasn't going to do it. I didn't want to get involved, but this whole AI thing, ugh. But Dakota from Tennessee, I think he nailed it right on the head with this AI thing. I think it's going to open up, it's going to liberalize this to the masses, and you're going to have a lot more people doing a lot of different things than they ever thought possible because they have this assistant, and I think it's a good thing. I'm all about it, and I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to talk football, but I think Dakota nailed it on the head. There's nothing to be afraid of. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, or less than what it's worth, but go Pack Go. Thanks for the show. Bye.
And I'll try not to elaborate too much because, whatever. But I think assistant is a good way to put it, and it sounds like that's the direction a lot of these companies want to go, is to just give you an assistant that can help you with anything and everything that you'd like to endeavor into. But yeah, I mean, as far as the Reed thing, I don't know how else to elaborate on that either. We've talked about it a couple times, but I'll just say the same thing again. I also am always surprised every time even now sitting here, it's like, was he really that good? I just don't remember, and shame on me for that being the situation. I just don't. I mean, I know he played and I know he did pretty well, but having some kind of an amazing standout rookie season doesn't register with me at all. Now, granted, it wasn't like a Justin Jefferson type of season or anything, and maybe it has more to do with the Packers as rookies and whatnot than anything else. I don't know, but there's just a lot going on right now with the Packers, and I've already said, the fact that we had a new quarterback obviously drew a lot of our attention away, but even going into this year, there's so many young players. We got a new coaching staff. We got a whole bunch of new defensive players. We got a new running back, new safety from free agency. There's so much going on. Even still, knowing what you know, it's hard to be like, oh, man, I can't wait for Reed. It's like, oh, yeah, definitely. But also, man, I'm excited about Watson. Also, I want to see what Wicks can do. Also, is Bo real? Also, those tight ends, man. Also, can't wait to see Jordan. Also, this new defense. Also, I'm really excited about Wyatt and what I think he's going to be able to do. And I'm excited to see Rashawn. And I can't wait to see this linebacker duo and the cornerbacks with the safeties and the Like, you can tell me whatever you want. I'm having a real hard time getting excited about just one person. So, very glad Jayden Reed is here. Seems like a really talented guy, and he's going to be. I guess one of the other things you could say about Jayden Reed, at least from my perspective, is he has a pretty high floor. When I look at a lot of the other guys, too, where I think it might not be very good, I just don't feel that way about Reed at all. Watson might not pan out. I have the highest expectations for Watson, but obviously it's entirely possible that it's just not going to happen. Jordan Love, I'm nervous. Jayden Reed, I have no fear whatsoever. I feel like he reached his floor last year as a rookie. And if that's all he ever is for a slot guy, that's awesome. That's fine. That's all we ever need you to be. And I have no expectation of him regressing whatsoever. Maybe that's irrational too. I don't know. I'm just kind of going off the cuff here a little bit as far as my feelings on the situation. So anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate it. Sorry once again that this has turned into the AI podcast. Obviously, there's not a lot to talk about. Forum is yours if you want to talk football. If you want to change it to food or movies or TV, I don't really care. But seems like more and more people are calling in with frustration about the AI talk, which consequently leads to more AI talk. But still, I'm sensing it. So I'm just saying, you want this to go in a different direction, call in. Even if you've never called before and you're like, I'm not listening anymore because this stupid show is just AI, call in. Call the number. I ain't going to hurt you. Talk Packers. Let's do it. It's hard. I'll grant you that. But that's the issue, right? So, anyways, I appreciate y'all, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Haters running their mouths, but they never show up. We run the north, the whole league knows what's up. All my pack on a mission, so you know we show out. Balled out, called out, we gon' show what we about.